Okay, this is a reading for somebody that has Aquarius in their 12th house. So the new moon, which is going to be really, the energies have already started, but really kicking in tomorrow and then some, is going to be in Aquarius. And so I pulled readings having to do with, okay, well, where is that going to hit you specifically in your chart? So if you have Aquarius in your 12th house, this reading could also be for you. But also on top of the new moon happening, we do have a switch for the nodes. The north and south nodes, which were in Sagittarius and Gemini, are now switching over to Taurus and to Scorpio. So this energy that is beginning, well, now, all this could happen right away, but it also could take 18 months to completely develop. So this reading is basically for between now and 18 months, where that's where this energy, that's where I'm capturing this energy. So just wanted to make that clear. So the 12th house is the house of kind of the unconscious. There's a lot of scripts that we learned in childhood that dictate quite a bit. Scripts that we learn from our society. Do you know, what does it mean to be a man, or what does it mean to be a female? Those are unconscious scripts that the whole collective carries. But we also have specific stuff from our family as well that carries through on our journey, and it affects a lot of our actions. A lot of the behaviors and things that we do are so unconscious. They really are. Because they're coming from these deep-rooted scripts that we have. Some of us have core wound scripts as well. These are things that we might say to ourselves that we believe to be true, or even if on the surface we don't believe them to be true, our unconscious thinks that they're true. So therefore we act as if they were true. Say hi to Precious, by the way. Hi, Precious! Hi, sweetie! All right, it's raining, so... Another thing, too, is shadow work. So a lot of the shadow work that is done, this is 12th house work. This is the shadow, basically in a nutshell, you have two sides of a coin, right? And like, let's put different traits on that coin. Like, let's say you have one, nothing is good or bad, okay? Everything is two sides of a coin. And whenever you say a certain thing is bad, well, then you're also denying the good part as well, because you're denying the whole coin. So I'm trying to think of an example. My son, in his shadow, he has, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like where you're boastful. Like he really doesn't like it when people are boastful, or, you know, prideful like that. That's in his shadow. So he can't even take a compliment on himself. Like, and like he denies any kind of recognition for himself because boastfulness is in his shadow. You know, for me personally, I have superficiality in my shadow. So it's like, oh, I hate all things that are superficial. Like, superficial people really irk me. A lot of times you can find out what your shadow is. It's the thing you're the most judgmental about. Okay. So I can be really judgmental on superficial or shallow people. Well, guess what? If superficiality is in your shadow, I'm also denying a lot of things. Like, you know, I don't always make myself up to be beautiful. You know, I don't always show myself off. You know, I'm denying certain pleasures, sensual pleasures, that I actually deny myself quite a bit because I've got this in my shadow. Another very common one to have in your shadow, I don't know why I'm going off on shadows, but I just want to explain this for a little bit because it's really at the seat of this unconscious work. Another one would be like being mean. So like if somebody is a bully or mean or you know, that kind of energy. A lot of times, people will be like, oh, those people who have that in the shadow, they don't like conflict at all. And when you have that in the shadow, you're also not assertive, you know? So anyway, So long explanation for what shadow work is, by the way. But the 12th house controls anything that's in the unconscious. So it's shadow work. What's in your shadow? What's in your deep rooted scripts that you have from childhood that are affecting your behavior? That kind of stuff. All right. So without further ado, let's go into the present moment. So in the present moment, you're actually in this really good energy. And it only gets better. So don't worry. This is a cool reading. So you're in this energy of acceptance, forgiveness, let's see what else, healing, releasing of baggage, and you're doing this alone. Okay, so this is in reverse. This is the Three of Pentacles in reverse, which if it were upright, it would signify teamwork. But reverse means that this is a journey that you're taking by yourself, alone. It's an inner journey, so that would make sense that you're doing it alone. But the aloneness of this journey comes even more into importance as we get through the reading, because that's what this journey is actually about. So let's start with the past, and let's start with what this baggage that you're getting over is, okay? So in the past here, you've got the Lovers on top of the World. So one way to interpret this is it's kind of a seeing partnerships or using partnerships to complete yourself. You know, in Jerry Maguire, when either he says it or she says it, I don't remember. But one of them's like, you complete me. It's kind of like that kind of energy. Like seeing partnerships as the goal in itself. Like goal in life is to have a partner. Ultimate goal in life would be to have a partner. And this becomes like of all importance. Okay. This is part of the baggage that we're working on. The challenges that you faced here have been in finding your soul tribe. So the Three of Cups would signify friendships, but not just superficial friendships. This is soul tribe level stuff, okay? So, and it's in the challenges position. So in trying to find your soul tribe, the behavior that you're doing, and this is where the core wound scripts start to come in. The behavior that you're doing is one of like trying to be like supportive and trying to be everything for everybody. But it's so okay. So like, let's say in somebody's childhood, if you have a dad that's an alcoholic or a womanizer, and you have a mom that's just like, oh, just sweeping it under the rug, everything's fine, nothing to see here, because they don't want to make any waves or rock the boat, when really they have an alcoholic, womanizing husband, but they don't say anything. And from that, a girl can learn that how a woman gets acceptance and love is in an enabling way. So you get acceptance and love in a way that's like overly like giving of yourself beyond the point where you should still be giving. So this is a core wound script for the pattern of codependency. And that is what we're going to be talking about for the rest of it, because I think where this healing is occurring, or specifically, it's going to be a healing of codependency or codependency type patterns, which we'll get into a second. So we're going to talk about the lessons that you learned. So in this pattern of kind of like being give, okay, so and we're not just talking about giving to lovers. We're talking about giving to an entire community of people. It's just this pattern of, hey, if I give and constantly put like, okay, here's what I can do for you. Here's what I can do for you. What do you need? I've got that resource, being that, always like the being so dependable type reaction. And in return, you're supposed to get love and acceptance. That's how it's supposed to work, right? Well, the lesson that you learned is that that's not what happened. So the Magician in reverse can mean that you have had or run into people that have used this energy to their own gain and not to yours. So basically, you've got people in your circle that have tricked you. in a way, or have been deceiving, whether they did this consciously or unconsciously. That's neither here or there. And it doesn't matter either, because you actually have an acceptance with it, which we're going to get into. So you've got, Precious, I'm not letting you out right now. You're just going to wait. So you've got people that have been taking while you're giving. So your energy, this giving energy is attracting takers. Yes, but they're like fake takers. I mean, not fake. They're like pretend. Hold on. I do have to let this dog out. So they're like pretending that they're on board with reciprocity when they're really not. So it's like, oh yeah, teamwork, you do this and this, and I'll do this and this. And then, we're creating this vision together, but that's not really what's happening. What's happening is you're giving, and then they're benefiting. And what are you actually getting out of the whole situation? So this is a lesson that you've had to learn, and that you have learned because you've gone off on your own here. And it's right here. So this is really good. You've got the 5 of Cups in reverse here, and you've got the 5 of Cups in reverse here. So basically, in the present moment, you're taking this lesson that you have already learned. So you've learned the lesson. You're in this energy of forgiveness and acceptance and okay with it. You're not upset with these people. You're like, hey, okay, I get it. Sometimes the universe teaches us things, that kind of energy, which is awesome. And so that makes sense that the 3 of Pentacles would be in reverse here, because specifically because of the lessons that you've learned, that this next part of your journey is going to have to be solo. And that means not just solo from a partnership, but it's also solo from community or connection with other people to a certain degree. I'm not saying, to go be a hermit in the freaking woods. I'm just saying that to a certain degree, for you to learn this lesson, you have to be solo from community as well as partnership. So let's look at what the moon's about to throw at you. Okay, let's see where I am. Okay, so what the moon is about to give you is an opportunity to address codependency patterns and actually get to the root of them and get over them. I had a vision that came up with this. So this can signify a low self-confidence. And a lot of times a people-pleasing pattern actually is rooted in a low self-confidence. So, if you sometimes it's scripts that, our parents have given us or society has given us, particularly people-pleasing for females. That is a society script. It comes very strongly, not just for females, but for all in Christianity. Christianity is a hardcore script for people-pleasing. But there's limits to this. I mean, there's a way to go overboard here. And it just reminded me of a story when, I had this boyfriend that, he was what we call a karmic partner. And the thing about karmic partners is they unleash your insecurities. They're very tumultuous, godforsaken relationships. They're hard as hell. But they have the effect, if you're paying attention, to release insecurities out of you, to release wounds out of you that you can now see and now you can heal because they're on the surface, and they're a hell of a lot easier to see when they're on the surface. So anyway, I was in this relationship with this karmic partner, and my boyfriend's friend and I became friends. Well, eventually I became roommates and friends, good friends, best friends with this friend of my boyfriend. Well, one of the things that bonded us originally is that my friend recognized my patterns immediately. I did not. You couldn't convince me that I had codependency patterns in the beginning because I was misunderstanding what codependency was. I was thinking, I'm not codependent. I live by myself. I pay all my bills. I don't chase after guys because I don't do any of that. But I still had a very codependent pattern because my friend would be like, well, then why are you bending over backwards to please this guy who is an alcoholic and not paying any attention to you, doesn't even bother to pick up the phone and call you? And I'm like, good question, right? Eventually, my friend recognized my pattern because he had the same pattern. And he was like, look, you have a codependency pattern. And he led me to the book Codependency No More, which I highly suggest you read. It was a real eye-opener for me, because I was just like, oh my God, every boyfriend that I have had has been an alcoholic. Well, that is a codependency pattern red flag right there. So anyway, the moon is about to give you an opportunity to get over a codependency pattern and to address what at the core, a lot of times of codependency and people pleasing in general, is a very low lack of confidence, self-confidence. So, sometimes with people pleasing, especially with a script that says how I get love is to be nicer and nicer and give and give and give, and this is what gets me love. And this is an unconscious script. And it's not true. So, me and my best friend, we ended up best friends and roommates for a couple years. We like to play with it because we both had these codependency patterns. Anytime he would ask me, and yes, we can both fall into those patterns, but we catch each other. So anytime he would ask me to do something that I didn't want to do, I would always say, you can fuck right off. Just like that. And he would just start laughing. And he was like, that's it. Because he'd be excited for me. He's like, you're conquering your codependency patterns. Awesome. Of course, whatever he was asking me of, I didn't want to do it. And so I just wouldn't. And I'd be like, you can fuck right off with that. So you're going to be learning and this is the strength card, by the way. So this is getting over it. So you are going to be overcoming this obstacle. You're going to be overcoming your codependency pattern. And you can do that by saying no more and more and more. No, just go for a day and just say no to absolutely everything that's asked of you. Just nope, not going to do it, not going to do it. And then start going into yourself. So what effect does this have? You're going to go on this journey. It's going to be starting with, at the core, a low self-confidence. Start there. Once you start going on this journey, oh, cool. Okay. So this is positive. So this is basically, you're doing this. You're going to do it. This is making progress, making momentum towards the goal. You're going to be making progress at going deep inside yourself. This is the high priestess. So you're going to use your intuition and your own higher self to guide you through this process. Essentially, you know what it is. So you know what the core scripts are. You know what your patterns are, what's in your shadow. You are going to figure it all out and you're going to get to the bottom of all of it. The result of this is awesome. So, this is, emotional balance. So you're going to achieve a balance and center inside of yourself that causes a deep, deep serenity. And I would say, you're done healing once you get here. And this in reverse is literally the end of codependency. That's why I kind of went off on the whole codependency thing, because you got the end of codependency. The devil in reverse can also mean an end to addictions, by the way. So devil in reverse, end of codependency patterns, and end of addictions. And by the way, addiction and codependency are very closely related. So when you tackle one, you also can tackle the other at the same time. All right. Well, that actually is a very positive journey that you're about to head on, and I'm excited about that one. Awesome. All right. Well, hope that helped.